Hello, whippersnappers. Hopefully you birds took a chance to, not, you know what? I just called you guys whippersnappers and birds in the same sentence. I'm telling you, I don't know where my manners are. Anyway, hello, WCA. Mike Amori. I hope you got a chance to look at the video I made for chesskid.com a while ago about what happens when white or black tries to give up two minor pieces for a rook and a pawn early in the game. Most of the time, my friends, that's not a good idea. Isn't it funny that Miss Serafina played an absolute beautiful game on chesskid.com and the same theme repeated itself? So if you watched my video first and then now you're taking a look at this one, you'll see amazing similarities. Okay, she's playing somebody called Alpha Dinosaur. Alrighty then. And the game begins with a typical four knights setup. I'm not going into the moves. Now, Miss Serafina, we have been talking about the center fork trick. Here in this position, black can actually play the move knight takes e4. Okay? I'm going to post another one of the videos I made all about the center fork trick, and you guys should know that you can get away with playing this idea. All right, so this video is not so much about the center fork trick. So white missed it. Serafina missed it and just played bishop c5, and then life is good. They play a symmetrical position, and here is where white starts to get a little frisky, and it's like, okay, sister, I'm coming for your pawn here on f7. Is that a problem for us? No. Remember this move. Just cackle. And when you cackle the king, you protect the pawn with the rook. It's kind of cool. The rook rides for free. You're not really spending a tempo on the rook. The rook gets to jump for free when you castle. So now you have two pieces defending this pawn. Before you castle, the king is already one of the defenders. And when he castles, he still defends the pawn, but he gets to do it from the left side. And notice the rook comes over to protect. This is such a common occurrence that by now I really want you guys to have this mastered. Don't do it if you're white. And if you're black, try to understand why castling is the best way to protect that square. Now, if you put this position on a computer, the computer is not going to say that black is automatically winning. But at your level, think about it, why this is so much easier to play as black. You already have three minor pieces out. You've given up a rook and a pawn, but at the beginning of the game, that rook and pawn don't really move. White had to spend 5 tempos. The knight, see where my mouse is way up here? This knight traveled from g1 to f3. Oops, sorry, I don't want to bring her out. To g5. And took the pawn here. The bishop came from f1 to c4, took the rook on f7. That's 5 moves to take two pieces that are not really moving much. So white doesn't get a whole lot out of it. So he castles, or she. I don't know who Alpha Dinosaur is, but, you know, it's a dinosaur. This is the same exact position that was in the video that I made months ago for chesskid.com. And Serafina played the same exact move against the boy. Now here, the kid with white played the best move, which is queen d2 to protect the c-pawn. In the video I made for chess.com, the kid played queen e1. His thinking was very good because he wanted to keep this bishop free, but Chad in that other video kind of pounced on his position with knight to d4 and hit this pawn. This is the same exact position, so it's so cool that Serafina had it in her game. So black, after attacking the queen, sees the move queen d2, and that's actually the better square because it protects c2. Serafina plays queen to d7. The kid jumps the queen out to g5, just kind of bothering this bishop up here a little bit. And here Serafina may have had a chance to play that centralizing move, knight to d4. Here's a tip, guys. After your opponent moves, so white just played queen g5. Obviously, look at all the attacking moves. There are no real checks that she can do. You have those squares covered nicely. The bishop is protected by the knight is protected by the pawn. If you think that everything you have is protected, always look at attacking moves. You know, for instance, if you play knight d2, white almost has to give this c-pawn away here, because if they bring the queen back to where she just was to protect the pawn, then the tactics can start. Do you guys see that there's a fork on this square? Well, if you play knight f3 right now, you may get an attacking position that might win if you give away. Like if you play it right away, they have to take, otherwise they lose the queen. You take back with the bishop, you're threatening mate in two. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Check and mate. That can be really powerful. That's one idea. Let's go back. Let's look at some other ideas. What about bishop f3? This is another possible move, because if the pawn takes the bishop, you just snap off the pawn check and win the queen. I'm not going to go through all the possibilities. I just want you to appreciate the attacking idea. I love Serafina's move. She played h6 and she just kicked Big Mama back home. I think her move is awesome. But keep in mind, if the queen is over here, maybe it's not a bad idea, to let her stay there and then just jump in with our knight. Okay? I like Serafina's move. She played h6, and sure enough, the queen goes back again to d2. All right, Serafina's turn. I like her move again. She breaks in the center. Does this look familiar to you? These are the same exact concepts that Chad did many moons ago. So my hat off to Serafina. I'm actually wearing a hat now, and I just took it off. My hat off to you, Serafina. You're playing beautifully. The boy took, or the dinosaur took. The knight took back. And just like in the game with Chad, white decides to make these fair trades, but those trades put Serafina's queen on a beautiful square, right in the middle of the board. Rook e1 was played, and I love Serafina's next move. What is the only piece she has that's not working? It's the rook on a1. So she plays the move rook f8, and that's a really good move. Of course, her king is in the way, but that king is going to move at some point, and then you'll see, I'll put a little arrow here, the bishop and the rook will be pointing at the f2 square. So she's playing really well here. Again, let's back up. She didn't see anything concrete to do here or an attacking move. So even if a computer says, yeah, you had something better, and by the way, I think the computer loves Serafina's move, but remember the concept. She brings her last piece into the game. You see that pressure those pieces are putting on white's position? White lifted the rook, attacking the bishop, and Serafina said, you want to attack my bishop? Now I'll attack you. And she attacks the rook. The rook swung over to h4, and another really cool move, king g8, activating the rook. c4 hitting the queen. Now, here she's got a couple of possibilities. Let's look at what she did first. She played queen takes d3, winning a pawn. The queens came off the board, and Serafina took with the bishop. Her extra minor piece is so much stronger than that rook in the corner. I mean, look at this poor soul on a1. Poor thing hasn't moved yet. So Serafina is playing beautifully. Sorry, the pieces keep jumping around. But let's take the concept that we're always going to look to attack things. So her move, winning the pawn, follows that rule, doesn't it? Let's go back. Here's her position, c4. She said, I'm going to take something. I can win a free pawn. Why not do it? I have two beautiful bishops. I'm going to win the game. And she did. She had another attacking move in this position. Can you spot it? Yeah, the move queen d8, attacking the rook that's not defended. Question, where does that rook go? You can pause your video and take a look at the danger that that rook is getting into just for being attacked. Now, how to spot these moves? Kind of keep your eye on pieces that are not protected, okay? Now, here what Serafina did is she just took something that's protected, but she's attacking it twice. So the dinosaur takes back, and then b3. After b3, there's a bit of a problem. White is just weakening way too many squares and missed Serafina's next attacking move. Can you spot it? Yeah, this is a crushing move. Bishop takes f2 check. The king has to go into the corner, and Serafina just snaps off a rook, and white is lost here. But the game's not over. Watch how she finishes. Bishop to b2, attacking the pawn here on e5. So what does she do? She pushes it. Why not? And these two in the middle, this pawn protected by the bishop, you see how they watch each other? That's going to totally shut out this rook up here, since her other rook already guards this line. So she's playing beautifully here. Pawn g3 attacking the bishop, and Serafina says, I'll move and offer you a fair trade. And that poor bishop up there probably shouldn't have traded, but white's position's not fun. Takes, opening up the rook. Pawn b4, thank you, Serafina says. Pawn a3, attacking the knight, and I love her style. She's like, you bother me, I'm going to bother you, hitting the rook. Rook goes to b1, attacking a pawn down here, and I'm not sure how much time Serafina took on her next move, but I'm hoping it was a long time, because eventually she just gave up this pawn and played knight e3. Now, if you're playing a good player and they're giving you a free pawn, do a little thinking before you take it. Here in this position, white just snapped off the pawn. Okay, what did Serafina do? Shachmat, the game is over. Aha. What do you think of my French accent? Better yet, don't tell me. I know what you think. It's not very good. But you got the point. The game is over. I hope you got a lot out of these two videos, because it's just proof that the things we talk about in class show up over and over in the games. All right? Hope you can use these ideas in your own games. I'll see you in 2 weeks.